Yantinator.
boy.
Well, I tell you, I listened to, I don't know if you guys listened to, I can't remember which podcast it was. I listened to so many of them. I think it was Church of the Corn. They had Isaiah Harris on, one of the walk-on running backs. And they were asking him specifically about Yant. And he said he's kind of like all over the place. Some days he's really focused. Other days he's just kind of, and he said he likes to do a lot of dancing around instead of hitting the hole hard. And Coach Applewhite keeps getting on him about just go forward, run through people. You know, this is a vertical offense on the running game. It's not a sidestep and dipsy doodle and juke. So I was kind of like, well, that's interesting. A big dude like that doesn't want to cut up right in the middle. So
the name escapes me right now, but that is not uncommon. We had a running back, maybe it was even the Riley years. He was a big bodied guy, and he had trouble going north. And
Amani Cross.
Was it Amani Cross? At that time?
Was it when Azigbo was in the doghouse all the time with Riley?
God, I can't remember. Yeah, I mean,
I want to say it was Cross.
I think you're thinking of a Wilbon. That's who I remember.
That could be Mikhail Wilbon.
And he wasn't
That's
a
why
big
he never
back.
saw the field.
He wasn't a big back, but he just danced. He
Well,
just danced.
everybody was so high on Mikhail Wilbon because he won that off the scout team MVP.
Yeah.
So did Washington. Or, what was his name? The kid in 2018, 2019 that ended up leaving the team. He did that all the time. They'd call inside runs and he'd bounce it outside. Good Lord. Maurice Washington. He was notorious for that.
The difference with him, though,
he could outrun people.
He was kicked off the team.
Yeah, he was kicked off.
But there was a little bit of that too. Yeah,
he didn't leave the team. The police picked him up.
Asked to leave.
I will say this: where do you think we would be if we still had that guy?
I mean,
he was good.
He was a transcendent talent.
We would have a very, very, very disruptive
running back. Would not be the biggest concern at any point that he had been here.
Yeah,
he would have been voted off the team by the culture by now. There's no way he would have made it because he's just God. It was I still remember when I was all about Washington, and then I saw on Instagram that he had like a live notification, and I was trying to watch the video, and it was so cringy. He was like just an arrogant shithead.
Who was the player that was on a podcast that claimed he almost punched him in the face?
It was one of the offensive linemen. I remember that.
It was Farniok.
Farniok. Yep.
Yeah.
But Mo Washington is like one of the great what ifs. Like the only running back that I can remember that I was like, and it a lot different career, but David Horn. Do you remember David Horn?
Yeah.
David Horn was a guy that was just like so like I was impressed with his athleticism, and he just never really hit at Nebraska. Mo Washington's that guy for me too. He is right in there. Like what could have been. I think David Horn had a really good freshman campaign and got injured. I think that was more of, and then he eventually got kicked off the team.
David Horn got kicked off the team?
Yeah, that was like 2002, 2003.
Yeah,
Josh
he got kicked off the
Davis
team
beat
too.
him out.
For marijuana. He got kicked off the team for marijuana.
I was a little pipsqueak at the time.
He had 1,000 yards into his career heading into his senior year and got kicked off the team.
Wow.
So very similar, I think. Again, not near as personal problems as Mo Washington, but the two biggest what ifs to me.
Absolutely.
That was a tangent that we didn't need.
No, it was. Yeah, no, you're right. It's if he would have been able to get his head figured out. I mean, he was a multi-purpose back for anything. He was just kind of small.
Can I just say one last thing about running backs?
Yeah,
so
sure.
Last year at this time, running backs was a shit show to me. Running backs was that position that I was worse at. And heading into this year, it's probably my second best position group. Right now, I think we're all in agreement. Offensive line is the worst position group, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. The most questionable for sure.
Do you see any chance that heading into 2022, we're sitting here saying, just like running back, I think everyone thought running back was the worst going into 2021. Is there any chance you're like, Man, offensive line looking pretty good right now, or is this just like we're in like a 5-year rebuild here?
So there's no way that we would ever know unless you're listening to media that don't see practices, or if you're going off the coaches talking about practice. There's no way we will know headed into Northwestern if that offensive line is
again, I'm
good.
not saying that. I'm not saying going into the season we're going to change it, but I'm saying by the end of it, like we start getting
by the end of the season.
Like, is there any
you
chance our
misspoke
offensive
because you
line
said
starts-
before the season.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is there any chance by the end of the season that we start seeing it like we saw running back, where it's like, yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
I think you can say that with every
Justin-
position that we have a new coach at.
Justin wants to say there's going to be
exactly.
Justin wants to say there's going to be no improvement, but I look at it as there's nowhere to go but up. So, I mean,
there's a high chance of going sideways.
I said that like
I
last
don't
year
think so.
and the year before that. In the year before that, like there's only one direction we can go, and it's up. And it's like, yeah, well,
And
We
then
never
we
saw
go
the
3-9.
Yeah.
we just when we thought
Justin,
we
read that
were at
banner,
the
please.
bottom, it
Do
was
what?
like
Read that banner, Justin.
The live stream. Yeah, he had that up earlier. Live stream is a short-free zone. And I barely
That's right.
started this time.
oh my
So I'm
goodness.
surprised you didn't.
No,
That's
so
the one I dropped
offensive
earlier, but-
line is the scariest unit on offense, followed by wide receivers for me. And then it's going to be I don't know. I mean, I don't worry about quarterbacks. Quarterbacks I have no worry about. I have no worry about tight ends. And I don't worry about running backs. And I mean, I guess if there's any separation, I guess maybe running backs would be the third most, but I don't worry about running backs.
That's crazy coming from the biggest Casey Thompson shit talker I know.
Okay, I gotta get one last thing. Casey Thompson. So this is a guy that I hate almost every Casey Thompson take. There is the camp that think Casey Thompson is going to come in
The
and
second
going to
coming of
change
Jesus.
Big Ten football as we know it.
Nope.
And then there's the camp. Let's call this camp the Justin camp. That's like this guy sucked at Texas. This guy almost got bent. In his first year as a starter, led the Big 12 in passing touchdowns.
But he was
that's a
benched.
fact.
He was benched. You asked Justin. He was benched.
It wasn't injuries. It wasn't.
It would have been benched if it wouldn't have been for injuries.
Yeah, it would have been benched if injuries. But yeah, I mean, this guy was a bum. Like he's somewhere in the middle there. He isn't going to revolutionize the quarterback position this year. I don't think so.
So
And this guy's in a buzz.
So Adrian Martinez threw one interception for every 30 passes, and Casey Thompson threw one interception for every 29 passes.
You know how many more games Adrian Martinez started heading into last year?
It doesn't. I'm not talking about starts. I'm talking about passes thrown.
I understand that, but Casey Thompson, this was his first substantial playing time in his career last year. You don't think he can get better after like that? Like essentially, this was again Adrian Martinez, 4-year starter. I can't see him making a big jump all of a sudden. 1 year starting for Casey Thompson. You don't think that there's an evolution that's on the table for him?
Maybe.
Again,
We'll
there's also a wild card involved in all of this, and that is the fact that the quarterback coach is completely different now. I mean, if Casey Thompson were coming in and he was going to be coached by Verduzco, I wouldn't see a whole lot of difference. But he's instead being coached by a guy that's extremely into the details. He doesn't prepare. He always prepares his quarterbacks. You ask anybody that's ever been coached by him. There's never a defense that the quarterback's going to see that he's surprised by, because that's how detailed Whipple is. How quickly Thompson picks up on all that, there's the question. But at least I think he's got an upgrade in a coach when it comes to tutelage on his quarterbacks. And let's be honest here, guys. Can you honestly say you're not going into this season thinking, oh, crap, if our starter goes down, it's all downhill? I'm not. I'm thinking we've got a better shot at having a pretty good quarterback come in and back him up, because I was not very confident
not
in
an
Logan
Andrew
Smothers going into Iowa, and he surprised me.
But I just wanted to talk to Tyler about, like Casey Thompson. I mean, you're making it sound like he's a super young quarterback. I mean, he's in his 4th year of college football right now. With the outside of COVID, I mean, he is like on his way out. I mean, he's
But
like.
it wasn't
done
like he
playing
was
college
like not behind. I mean, he was behind Sam Ellinger, who was a
Mhm.
really good quarterback in college.
and he got beat out by a freshman to start the last year.
And then he
That's
ended up
fact.
leading the
He
Big
got
Ten
beat
as
out.
touchdowns.
He was a
led the-
third-year guy that got beat out by a freshman.
So who had the most touchdown passes in the Big Ten last year?
In the Big Ten?
The Big 12.
Okay.
Yeah, see, Justin forgets to bring that part up. See, Casey Thompson also had a touchdown every 10 passes, almost 11. Okay, we'll say 11. To Adrian Martinez, 1 in 15.
Yeah.
Like there's a big difference there.
I mean, he put up a lot of touchdown passes.
Oh, but they were all in a
against
couple
Kansas.
games. They were all in a couple games, remember?
I mean,
There we
like
go.
3 games he had. I mean, it was like 18 or was it
15.
15?
15 or 14 touchdowns.
through 3 games.
I get. I'm just.
You know what's so interesting? Whenever I watch you guys, right? It's like I'm watching my brain like enact itself in 3 different personalities, because everything that you guys say, I'm like, yeah, that's something I've thought before. Yep, that's a point that I've taken before, and that's why I freaking love you guys, because
we're
like
the little guy sitting on your shoulder, Scott. That's what
yes,
we are.
yes, except for there's like a third one, there's a bald third one sitting somewhere else, and
And we reek of alcohol.
yes,
Yeah.
and you guys are just, but they all make you guys make fucking great points.
Yeah, it's always good. It's always good for sure. I mean, this has been a fun discussion. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I just-
Yes. One
The
last
I
thing,
didn't
I,
mean
the
to
thing I
cut
gotta
you
say
guys
is
off.
that Justin and Derek are clearly on opposite sides of the shoulders, and they will always be on different sides of the shoulder. Like
That's
Like,
not
I
true.
ju-
Derek, how many
I
times did we
jump.
agree tonight?
Like
I
once.
jump.
Like
One
one.
is more than ever.
But,
there was a podcast a while back that you guys like agreed like 3 different times, and you guys were just taken aback by it. It was amazing. I don't remember which one that was, but
well,
It doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen
about
often.
anything. About anything. It's not just Husker football. It's anything.
It
We don't-
really is.
That's-
Except the
family.
only thing we really agree on is beer is good.
And Guns N' Roses is a good rock band.
The
which
best
you're wrong.
ever.
You're
Beer
wrong
is
on.
good, but we disagree on which beer is the best.
So I gotta do a shameless
True.
plug here,
True.
Ken, as we're getting out, because the Cuz Cast, we've had a hiatus for about a month and a half now. Next week we're coming back. We're
Awesome.
releasing new content. We're finally taking summer vacation off and coming back and talking football, because you could tell we're getting a little lived up right now. So
getting
Awesome.
jazzed.
Awesome. Been
Our
missing
show
it.
will be more regular here on out until the end of the next season.
That's awesome. And the next time we get together to do one of these, which will be the last one of these roundtables in the off season anyway, will be next month. And it will be our over-under game, just like we played last year, except I've come up with some different categories, guys, some stuff that's completely different than last year. So
Can't
I
wait
think
for
it's pretty
that.
compelling. I think it's a lot of fun. For example, I'll just give you one
Ooh,
example
sneak peek.
of something
Sneak
that we're going to
peek.
do. And this is just a bonus question. And
I'm
that
gonna
is
stay
in
over.
the 2021, Ramir Johnson was second on the team in all-purpose yards with 730, 495 rushing, 197 receiving. I have an over-under for Ramir Johnson in all-purpose yardage this year, because we've got that many more running backs in the room that can do a lot of the things he can do. I have his over-under set at 543. So that just gives you a sample of what we're going to talk about next
You
month.
can't
Go
answer
ahead,
it, Tyler.
Can't answer yet. And maybe that question will be gone by next month. You never know. But
I mean,
anyway,
if you had an irrelevant question, like
Yeah.
run your suck.
yeah, go ahead, Tyler.
oh, the finger up was like that. That's an over.
Oh,
I'm not tipping my finger. I'm not tipping my hat at that. I believe I
See-
won last year, didn't I?
Sure.
Or did I not win last year?
Yeah, you
how
did.
we
And
play?
I still have yet to mail out the to send you guys
that,
the
that you know what? Don't worry about
the-
that. You'll just have
the
to do
gift
double
cards.
this year.
There
Because I
there-
will win again.
There
Mr.
were no-
Overconfident.
Might
There
as
were no-
well just stack them up.
there were no real winners last year, to be fair.
No,
Yeah.
no, because we all were so far off. But
All
that's
Nebraska
one
Nation
score
were
off.
losers.
that's the plan next month, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to you guys putting out your next bit of content. Another Cuz Cast show coming. Where can folks find you guys, Justin?
You can find us on Twitter at Husker Cuz Cast. You can find our podcast anywhere you listen to your podcasts. But yeah, hell, we even have a Facebook page.
Don't
Yes,
tell
There
me.
you
do.
go. They got Facebook.
They've got the Facebook. You can find us at the same places at Gen Red Pod on both Twitter and Facebook. Gen Red Pod is now the name of our YouTube channel as well that you're watching this on if you're watching. And genredpod@gmail.com is our email address. You can find our website at genredpod.com. So that's it for tonight, guys. This was a heck of a lot of fun. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. And until next time, we're the Big Red Roundtable, and we're here to remind you that Iowa's corn still and will always suck, and there is absolutely no place like Nebraska.
Absolutely.
Love Big Red.
Peace out.
GBR.